Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumararpanamastu. We are absolutely thankful to Bhagavan for this Nama Sankirtan. We have been seeing glimpses of Bhagavan's glory or his Nama's glory, how this grace comes to our help, rescue and guidance in the circumstances. Now today we shall see one or two or three drops from the ocean of his Leelas. Sri Sundararajan of Nagarkoil is working in a company which produced fertilizers and chemicals. Certain chemical preparations as well, which in the course of time affected in the form of an allergy. It started with the skin and then it began to spread slowly all over the body. What was more, it reached a stage where it became very painful. He was unable to hold his grandchild. He went to the doctor, consulted, but then when he ran into Sri Radhakrishnan of Achalambika, Sri Radhakrishnan was already a devotee of Bhagavan, and he advised Sri Sundararajan to go to Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar in Tiruvannamalai, and he would find his cure there. He also gave a photograph of Bhagavan, which of course Sundararajan took. But he very casually said, okay, when I find time, I will go to him. Not only that, he soon forgot all about it. In 1885, there was a conference which he had to attend, where this company people had to interact with the farmers and find the results of their fertilizers. And it happened. You see, already Bhagavan had gone to him in the form of his photograph. So how could he let him go? So here was an opportunity that a conference should take place in Tiruvannamalai, right in Tiruvannamalai. As soon as Sri Sundararajan heard it, he knew he had to go to Bhagavan. And he was also suffering from the disease. Now when the group landed in Tiruvannamalai, it was afternoon, they went straight to Bhagwan's place because Sundararajan had briefed them about it. But then, unfortunately, somebody said Bhagwan had already wound up his morning darshan, he had gone inside, and he would come out only at 4 o'clock again. So they could come at 4 and have darshan. Naturally, Sundararajan and his people were very disappointed. And then they had a difficulty because their conference, their meeting, was going to start only at 4 o'clock. So how could they come? So the people who came with Sundararajan had given up. They gave up the idea of darshan and they wanted to go. But Sundararajan, by then, was already drawn to Bhagwan and he just could not leave without darshan of Bhagwan. He thought, okay, they are Siddha Purushas and they are beyond time. Let me try anyway. He prayed and then he went near the gate. Even before he knocked at the gate, the wooden door opened to reveal the divine form of Yogi Ramsuratkumar. As if mesmerized. Why? As if he was completely overwhelmed and went inside and sat before Bhagwan. Bhagwan asked, as soon as they went and sat there, Bhagwan became silent. He closed his eyes, bent his head, and looked as if he had gone into deep meditation. The people who came with Sundararajan became very restless. They wanted to go away. They had no patience to sit there. But Sundararajan's story was different. And after some time, Bhagwan opened his eyes and asked everybody their name. And then he asked Sundararajan also if he wanted to say anything. Sundararajan, for some strange reason, he could not remember to ask about his disease. Instead, he blabbered. He said that his brain was not so sharp as before. It seems to have become dull. Then Bhagwan said, well, you pray to God. Now, Sundararajan, when he came out, he did not know what to make of it. Praying to God? Why didn't he present his problem, the true problem that he was undergoing? Why did he blabber? He felt very bad, disappointed, and he knew that he himself was the reason for it. He was not vigilant, attentive. Had he been alert, he would have promptly presented his problem. He very much regretted his foolishness. In any case, but it started. You see, everything that Bhagwan did or said is an Ashirvad. Even though it looked negative, as if he did not present his problem and so could not find his cure from Bhagwan, this started a deeper longing in Sundararajan. He began to feel very deeply about Bhagwan. It created a longing, a very healthy longing in him. And he began to think of Bhagwan often, deeply. So the transformation began to happen inside. The one who casually said, "When I find time, I would go and see him." That man was gone. Now here is a new Sundararajan longing for Bhagwan's Darshan. One day he had a dream, and in that dream Bhagwan appeared with his turban. What was more, Bhagwan called him near, and then he removed his turban and took the cloth in his hand and began to stroke Sri Sundararajan from head to foot. Sundararajan became ecstatic. It was an overwhelming experience, and he felt an ineffable joy. He became blissful even in the dream, because in dream, when things happen, you do not know it is a dream. Every bit of dream seems very real. And after that, Bhagwan disappeared after stroking him with a turban cloth. Bhagwan disappeared and he woke up and he thought it was only a dream. But then soon after that, his allergy became less and less, and finally he was completely cured. This is how he was hooked by Bhagwan into his secure fold. Bhagwan had said, whenever he appeared in anybody's dream, they should please know that it's no dream. Whatever he could not do in his physical body, he would do it in his astral body. He would do it in the dream body. And it's real. So, to Sundararajan, it really happened. So much so that it cured very soon after that. Now let's shift to another scene. Shr.i Ganapathy, a devotee of Shr.i Paramacharya, his 7 volumes of the Divine Voice, a masterpiece, what do they call it, magnum opus. Bhagwan often recommended it to people to buy and read. I remember when I was in Sanadi Street House, the 6th volume had come. So it was Bhagwan's habit to ask someone or the other to read out from the book. And it happened that Sri Ganeshan of Ramanashram was there. So he made Sri Ganeshana read out some portion. And then he made me also read some other pages. After that, Bhagwan, when everybody left, when I was alone with him, Bhagwan, with great concern and love, asked me, "Devaki, would you like to read this book?" Then I thought he was going to give me. I said, "Yes, Bhagwan, I would very much like to read. It is so beautiful." Then Bhagwan said, "Then you have to buy and read." I never expected this reply, and Bhagwan went into uproarious laughter, thunderous laughter, because he knew it was a play, a leela. He gave me the impression, he gave me to understand that he was going to give me, and here I was walking into his trap to say, "Yes, Bhagwan," and all that he said. "Then you buy and read." and then went into this thunderous laughter, this inimitable, cascading laughter of his. And of course, I was at once disappointed and delighted. So this Raga Ganapathy was very, very dear to the heart of Bhagwan, so much so, he wanted to see the man who wrote those books. He sent word voluntarily. What a great fortune for Sri Raga Ganapathy that Bhagwan should go after him. He sent word twice. Bhagwan was very, very impressed with those books. So we have already gone through one experience of Sri Raga Ganapathy, how he had come to the breakfast hut with Sri Mukhilan, and he had a problem with his stomach. Many, many things would not agree with his stomach, and he always suffered. He had a very delicate stomach. And then we saw how Bhagwan peeled one plantain after the other, one banana after the other, until Sri Raga Ganapathy began almost to scream. He could take it no more because he had never taken banana because it would not agree with his stomach. And here was Bhagwan peeling one after the other, giving one after the other, and it was already 4. But Bhagwan said, "My father wants you to eat. Please take it. Nothing would happen. My father, blesses Raga Ganapathy, nothing would happen to him. He would be all right." And then again he went into his typical, inimitable, cascading laughter, peals and peals of them. And of course, Ganapathy also had, Sri Ganapathy had an appointment with the proprietor of Sivakasi hotel, and he was to have his breakfast there, some idlis and other items. And here he was already filled with 4 bananas, and he was wondering how he could fulfill the promise of breakfast with the proprietor. Bhagwan looked at him and smiled. "It's all digested." Sri Ganapathy does not have to worry. It is all digested. He uttered the sentences, and with that, any discomfort that he felt was gone completely, and he felt so hungry. After that he went to the hotel and had a hearty meal with the proprietor of Sivakasi hotel. So we already have gone through this Leela bit by bit, every detail of it. And now his sister, Katpagam Ravichandran, by then Sri Ganapathy Anna was not well, but Kalpagam has a problem. Her son had some nervous trouble. And the little boy was suffering, and mother was also suffering, just seeing him suffering. Her suffering was even more, just seeing the son suffer. Finally, she approached Sri Raga Ganapathy for darshan of Bhagwan. She heard so much about him from Sri Ganapathy ji. And Sri Ganapathy ji arranged for the darshan. And Kalpagam Ravichandran, she went there with her son. She came to the ashram. When Bhagwan was in the breakfast kutir, Bhagwan, the compassion incarnate, when Srimati Kalpagam presented her problem, Bhagavan called the child near him, touched his head and the body, and said, this beggar doesn't find anything wrong with him. He's all right. There is nothing wrong with him. This beggar doesn't find anything wrong with him, the child. When he declared it 2 or 3 times, the child's mother became very happy. She knew that the child was free by his grace. After that, when she went back, the doctor who was treating the child already had a change of heart. He said, maybe this could be, the treatment could be changed for the child. He arranged for a psychiatrist, and the nervous problem of the child was completely gone. He was free from it. And after he became a big boy, got employed in the US, now with wife and son, he always carries a photograph of Bhagavan in his pocket. And I believe he named his son also after Bhagavan. And Kalpagam says, another cousin brother of hers, I remember them coming to the breakfast hut, the couple. They had no child for many years after marriage. But Bhagavan blessed them nicely and said, by Father's grace, you will have a child. And they did. They had a child, I think, if I remember right, 16 years after marriage by Bhagavan, 16 or 11 years, I don't remember exactly. But after many years, when there was absolutely no possibility, Bhagavan blessed them with a child. This is the way the grace works. Now, why we are going through one experience or the other? For one thing, Bhagavan has prescribed it as a sadhana. When we go through the leelas of Bhagavan, no matter to whom it happened, we relive those experiences, and reliving those experiences means remembering Bhagavan joyfully, and that would fetch a big bout of blessings for us. And the other lesson that we learn from this is, though they seem to be worldly, all these miracles, attending to the needs of people, you see it brings about an inner transformation as well, because the transformation is the greatest miracle the Mahatmas do. Through this, their faith gets strengthened and their life begins to depend upon Bhagavan. They begin to lead a life enriched by His grace, and all the details of their life would come to depend upon Bhagavan. So it becomes a dharmic life, the life as it should be, depending upon God. So there is both inner transformation and outer transformation. Now one more incident, we shall shift to Sivakasi. Sri Arunkumar has written an article. He says, I want to share it with the devotees of Bhagavan because this would help many people. He said, in the late 80s or the middle 80s, he developed some bad habits. For nearly 27 years, he was a heavy smoker. No matter how much his parents were trying to tell him, he just would not listen to anyone. But when he tried twice, he failed miserably. That so much so that he gave up even trying. And the smoking also led to other bad habits and bad company. He was unable to do anything about it. At the time, Sri Kumaravel had started this Bhajanashram, and when Sri Kumaravel fell sick and was admitted in a hospital, Sri Arunkumar and his wife went to Bhajanashram and sat there at 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock. They were chanting the name for the sake of Kumaravel. At the end of which, Shr.i Ponnuthayi, who was serving Bhajanashram, she gave them 2 bananas. They collected. He went home, Arunkumar. He just left it on the table and did not take it. He was a little casual about it. And then again the next day, he and his wife went there to Bhajanashram, sat there for 1 hour and completed the Nama Sankirtan and came back home, all for the sake of Kumaravel. And you see, doing something like this, Nama Sankirtan, a very powerful Nama Sankirtan for 1 hour for the sake of others, it's a great tapas and brings about inner transformation. Now, after he was back, when he was sitting in his room, it was nearing 1 o'clock in the night, and suddenly Arunkumar saw this fruit, banana, left on the table. Something impelled him to go get it and eat it. When he was eating it, when he started to eat, suddenly the train of his thoughts changed. His streaming consciousness changed, and now there was some positive, transformed thinking happening. He was thinking, what am I doing? I'm smoking, and I have other bad habits. This will not do. I have to do something about it. And somehow he became disgusted with himself. He decided he would stop smoking. And he did. He had one last smoke, and after that, he stopped it altogether, and he was able to survive it. He says, all this happened when I ate that Prasad from Bhajanashram. So how much important, how much divine is the Prasad that we get from the shrine of Bhagwan, wherever it is. It's while eating the Prasad, his whole thinking changed for the better. For one thing, chanting the Nama for the sake of the problem of somebody is in itself a great force of transformation, and the Prasad that we get from the shrines of Bhagwan is very potent medicine, a medicine for our transformation. So we see in all these incidents how Bhagwan's grace comes to our rescue in different ways. Now that Bhagwan is here before us, we shall submit our prayers of the day